Okay, we working today. We got a lot of fucking work to do too, so let me get into this shit. Pause. Okay. Now, as I was talking about earlier, George Soros was pushing for a reform in age of consent to lower the age of consent. Now, the age of consent, this is the age at which an individual can legally consent to sexual intercourse under any circumstance, okay? Legally consent to sexual intercourse under any circumstance. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. Whatever age is set to the age of consent, that's whenever you don't have to worry about catching a charge, okay? But then check this. There's also a minimum age of consent. Okay? This is the age below which an individual cannot consent to sexual intercourse under any circumstances. Whoa. So that means there are circumstances in which you can have sexual intercourse with someone under the age of consent, as long as it's not under the minimum age of consent. Okay, age differential. The victim is above the minimum age and below the age of consent. The age differential is the maximum difference in age between the victim and the defendant where an individual can legally consent to sexual intercourse, and minimum age of defendant. In order to prosecute, this is the age below which an individual cannot be prosecuted for engaging in sexual activities with minors. The table notes those states in which this law only applies when the victim is above a certain age. Okay, so that's trying to play on words, and it's saying basically if you, as a man or woman, are engaged with sexual intercourse with someone above the regular age of consent, you have nothing to worry about. Okay? This is the age of consent in the left-hand column. Okay, so 16 for most states, 17 for a few, 18 for a few, you know. Now, minimum age of consent. This is what the fuck I want to talk about. How did they even throw this shit in here? Okay, so Alabama. The minimum age of consent in Alabama is 12. Okay? 12 years old. You can fuck with a 12-year-old under certain circumstances. Probably, okay, not only this, but you can fuck with minors as long as you have certain type of, you can marry minors with parental permission and things like that. This is some weird ass shit, okay? 12, 15, 16, 14. This is what I wanted to show you. And what is going on is they're trying to lower the age of consent. Okay? Now they're saying, okay, 15 if the victim is, or if the defendant is in high school and under 19 years old. Okay? The victim is under 15, 10 if victim is under 17. 4 years of age if the victim is under 15, and 10 years of age if the victim is under 17. Okay, see, this is some sick shit. Alright, and some of these is not available. So as long as, and this is the age differential with what they're talking about. Minimum age of defendant in order to prosecute. Okay. All right, let's see this. This is some shit right here, though. So, as you can see, pedophilia is it's just all incorporated into this shit, and it's when you look at the laws on pedophilia and the penalties, the sentence that you can give is very, very, very small. Okay, and that's because pedophiles are the ones writing these laws. Okay, it's a mental disorder, so you can molest children and pedophile children and just get sent to a psychiatric ward. Okay, and not do any time in jail because it's considered a mental disorder. Okay, now I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Pedophile receives maximum sentence. 48-year-old. Okay, how long did they get sentenced? Served most of it. 40-year sentence handed down to. Okay, so 40-year sentence. Now she served most of that, but we got motherfuckers that are literally killing, raping, okay? Not even raping, because rape, you don't get, that's another thing. With rape, you don't get charged much time with that either. But for drug dealers, people who have got caught killing, people who have been involved in conspiracies and other things like that, they get life sentences, sentenced to death. But a pedophile gets some years, and in many cases, they don't see jail time. Okay, this is somewhat of an anomaly, and even so, it's still not a life sentence. It's still a possibility of parole. Okay, will have served most of a 4-year sentence. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Pedophiles getting off easy. They're getting off the hook. It's written in the laws to let them off the hook and to throw the book at other motherfuckers. And why is that, you might ask? Well, I just told you. Because the ones in control of these laws are pedophiles. And this shit is coming out more and more and more. So, most motherfucking hype. I'll see you on the next episode.